Hiya folks, it's building time because the weather isn't being very kind outside. And what I need to do is have a look at the Flare Fokker D7, which has a dummy engine, but what's supplied in the kit leaves a little bit of to be desired. And in the absence of a 3D printer, yes, I would love one. I'm going to have to fabricate it using the scrap box, and that might be fun in itself. So get your tipple in hand and let's get creative. Well, here we go then, folks. Let's crack on and do some of those jobs that I've been putting off for some time. The first is to do something about the dummy engine. Now, there are a number of slight variants on how the engine was installed, but it certainly didn't look like this lump of plastic here. I think I can do a better job than that. In the absence of a 3D printer, yeah, wouldn't one be nice? And I just don't know where to start. I'm looking at all the different models. So in the absence of one of those, I'm going to make one from scratch. These covers are just too close together and they're incorrect. So what I'm going to do is put together a rough sketch of the components that I need to make this a more realistic looking engine. There's nothing I can do about this. Obviously, this is the real engine that's going to motivate the thing in the air. I can't hide it. I could have perhaps inverted it, but I think it's best to leave it upright if possible at all. So let's see what I can do with this to make it look a little bit more realistic. Let's get cracking. Well, in the absence of that 3D printer, I've had a look at some photographs of the engine for the D7, and I'm going to try and break it down into a set of geometric shapes. It's the only way to tackle it, really. There's a central tube running underneath the covers to the cylinders, and that is going to be the building block that I'm going to start with. So I've measured a piece of this tubing, which is the sort of tubing that piano wire comes in when you go to the model shop, and that's going to be the first part. And I'm going to make the cylinder covers and the rockers along with the valve springs first and then work down. I think that's the logical thing to do. So on here, on this piece of scrap paper here, I've marked off 4 cylinders. I can't get the 6 in because of this one here, and I think that'll fit the space nicely. So I'm going to cut out the covers using this thick plastic card, and to do that I'm going to use this tool. So I call it a scroker. It was used by, when you're cutting through plastic card, it cuts a V out. It removes the material rather than just pushing it to each side, which a Stanley knife or a scalpel blade would do. This will actually remove the material. And back in the day, engineers would fabricate these from old hacksaw blades. You can see where that's going. Grind them down and use them to mark out onto brass sheet and metalwork. That's where the idea came from, I believe. So I'll show you how it works. The first thing is I'm going to get this square, and I don't believe it is square at the moment, so I'll mark a line down here. And you can see it actually removes the material as you're cutting it, which is what we're looking for. Put the ruler on. And then, as with all cutting, it's not trying to go through in one go. What you're trying to do is remove enough to make it come off. Now, I can resort to a blade now to finish the cut off. It's quite thick, this. It's about 2 mil thick. There you go. So that's now square, and I think that's about the shape I'm looking for. So I'll mark off their square covers, so I think it needs to be slightly wider. And these are going to form, this is going to form the basis for the covers themselves. I'm going to put balsa wood underneath and file out a nice groove to glue on top of this tubing, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's cut these squares out first. You don't have to cut all the way through, as I'll demonstrate here. That last piece was a little bit too narrow to get the effect, and all you do is you apply a bit of pressure, and there you go. And then this curved part here, you run that along the edge and it lifts the burr off. There we go. I'll cut those into squares and they'll be the rocker covers. Well, there we have it. Plastic pieces cut, approximately square anyway. Glue these pieces on to this balsa, which will allow me to put a half groove in and then glue it to the tubing. So I'll glue these on till I've got a pile of them. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave them in situ. Make life a lot easier. Glue them on. Super glue here. Then we'll cut them off once everything's set. Some form of plastic card, I think it's a bit nylon perhaps even this. Just everything's out the scrap box. Okay. Square that up, make sure everything's nice and level. And once it is, I'll put a groove on the other side for this to sit in. And then we'll space them out. There we go. There we go. There we go, that's the first part done. Now there seems to be some variation on the positioning of the rocker arms. I've picked one that I'm going to go with. I'm going to put some little knobs to represent the bolts in each corner, and that'll add some texture to it. So just scrap, let's see what we can come up with. Here then is the top half of the engine simulated. The rocker arms, the bolts, no attempt to make them hexagonal, just round blobs that are going to stand out. That's it for today, I think. And tomorrow I'll tackle making up the bottom half. So there, that's going to sort of go there. The springs for the valve rockers will go in and they'll stand out quite a bit. Obviously I can't do anything about this engine. Like I say, if I'd mounted it inverted I may have got away with it, but it's a bit late for that now. I like the idea of it upright anyway. There you go. Little bit of effort, scrap box. Let's keep cracking on. The next time you cut away will be tomorrow, but we'll carry on and try to fabricate something to simulate the bottom part of the engine and the exhaust. And the one I'm going for isn't the exhaust that comes out the whole of the side. It's a one that appears in the cutaway here. Anyway, let's keep going, folks. I've actually taken the top part of the engine as far as I think I need to at the moment. Now I need to produce the upper part of the 4 cylinders that I'm making. Of course, the original had 6, but I have to allow for the real engine that's going to power this. So what I'm going to do is use a chunk of thick balsa here, and I'm going to cut it out, drill a hole in the middle of four squares, and then put it on the lathe, bolt them together, and turn them down to the upper circle of each of the cylinder heads, because I don't need to show much more than the upper 1/5 or 1/6 of the cylinders. I'll cut these out now. I'll cut the block. I've just eyeballed it. I've put that on. You know, I need that. I need them to be that sort of width to machine down. It's all eyeballing stuff. There's no actual measuring as such. If it looks right, it is right. And that's the sort of level of scale in this model. It's no more than that. And when it's flying around in the air, looking majestic, coming past at about 15-20 mile an hour, it's going to look good enough. So I'll cut that off. Find the saw, cut that off, cut them into the chunks that I need. Got it set up in the lathe, and we'll get them machined. Okay, I'll cut these up and show you when they're done. Well, there you go. That's the top of the cylinders that I've machined down to a size that looks approximately right to me. And that's all we're talking about here. Approximate's near enough. The little mandrel worked. Putting the bit of nylon on the top and bottom helped greatly. Hope you can see that. I forgot to turn one of the lights on. There you go. So we'll take that off. I've obviously got 2 more to make, but I think this will look okay. A bit of filler on it. And once the thing's painted up and weathered down, I think it'll look okay. So there you go. There's one. There's the other. And that's going to sit on the top like that. And the spring connectors to go in between. I think it's starting to look a little bit more like a Mercedes D3, I think they were. I may be totally wrong on that. I'm just guessing. So there you go. It's starting to come together. I'll make the other 2 and then we'll think about the next steps. There's very little room in here, but I thought I'd show you how I'm going about doing this. As you can see, it's very rough and ready. There's hardly anything precise about this at all. But it's getting the job done. Needs a little bit more off. I'm basically taking it until too much there. Till they're all approximately the same. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not precision engineering here. take that out and compare it with the other one. That's close enough for me. And then all I'm doing to get a nice smooth finish is using one of these nail files. And there you go, that's close enough. Take that little bit off. That'll do. I'll swap it round in the mandrel and then I'll do the other one on the other side, and that's 4 of them done. Onwards and upwards. There you go. Next. There you go, coffee break time, and that's the stage I'm up to. It's starting to come together. I hope you can see here I've put the 2 parts of the engine construction together, and I've also started to put the springs for the valve gear on, and I don't think I've got much more to do. Some device at the back here, and there's something at the front. I'm not going to put much more than that on. Give it a spray and the rest will be about adding some weathering to it. Then of course I've got the exhausting to do. So still bits to do, still bits to crack on with, but we're getting there. Here we have it then. That's the basic job I was after achieving. So I'm going to give it a coat of some sort of primer, and then we'll hack out the space behind the real engine to fit this in and see what it looks like. Exhausts to do. I think I'll do them separately and make it easier. And on the prototype that I've seen, most of the exhaust comes out in this sort of fashion. Most of it is covered in, fed in, and there's only the actual exhaust itself sticking outside. So that's a cop out which I'll take. Right, let's get it primed. Well, here we go. I'm calling the main part of the engine, dummy engine, done. The exhaust pipe work needs to come out here, and there's some pipe work to show on that side. That'll be done at a later date, because the model I've seen that I think I'll be modelling simply has an exit here for the exhaust at the side, and that means I don't have to fabricate this sort of curve that comes down here, only the pipes coming out from it. So I think that's a vast improvement on the expanded polystyrene blister that's included in the kit. With the lack of a 3D printer, there's some lovely designs on Thingiverse that I've spotted which would have done the job. But then again, I've had a day and a half playing about with this and having fun. There's a bit of texture in the cylinder heads, which actually I like, which looks very much like the pictures that I've seen. But there's a bit more work to do on it, and when it comes to putting the exhaust in, I will do that. There's a lever that needs to go on the back here, and I think I'll have the dummy engine magnetically locked in place. That way I can remove it if I need to take the engine itself out. So there you go, folks. Just a bit of play, something different, isn't it? Get creative, folks. Bye now.